It's on now.
I'm going to get to that, whether this is one of those that actually you do deny, or do you deny but in a particular way. And I'm not saying that you should not deny it, or table it, or whatever. This was written to be precisely as bad as it looks. But one of the teaching points is SurveyMonkey. SurveyMonkey is not confidential. But anyone can look at, actually, if you have a little bit of computer expertise, look at the database, get the database, find out who sent it in, right? Which identifies at least the computer that they're using. So the kind of SurveyMonkey that it actually protects people is the most expensive kind. I think it's about $900 for some sort of, I don't know how long the contract is for it. We had to go through this once with, in fact, a very sensitive survey. That's how I happen to know about it. But it's something to be aware of. SurveyMonkey for sensitive research is not a good, that you really want to keep anonymous, and want to say that the researcher cannot access it, because that's one of the issues, after all, about anonymity, is that the researcher also cannot find out who sent in a particular survey. So one way to think about this is does this have any, I'm going to answer, I want to get to Sarah's last point. Does this have any redeeming value? Any?
Well, yeah, I mean, it could, if you ignore all of the ethical violations, there is, in some sort of universe, there may be potential for this study to assess the extent to which resilience factors that have been identified in other communities apply to this specific community as well. The generalizability of those resilience factors.
Okay. Anyone else?
The only thing I see is that after all the data is collected, even though it's by SurveyMonkey, there will be a set of data there, prevalence rate, where the problem is severe and these kinds of things. At least we'll have that. Is what I'm thinking. There'll be some data that might be useful somewhere.
Okay. Anyone else? Any redeeming value? No one? Anyone?
We're not thinking of it.
Okay. I'll give you my answer, and it's a two-part answer. My first thought was, yeah, this person is well-intentioned. And that's a redeeming value, and that's about the only thing actually as written. You can tell that I wrote this. That's the only thing I put in. But then as I thought about it, and it's actually getting to Sarah's question about, can we infer? Here is a person who wants to help. That's what the person says. He has no knowledge of what he is doing, doesn't know how to work with the community, doesn't think it's necessary. Have we been there before? Does this sound familiar about I'm Anglo, or whatever term you want to use for white? Back at Lummi, the Indian term is posted. This person thinks that because he has the degree he has, and that he's lived in the TR reservation for 20 years and taught at the TRC, the TR college, that he can come in and do good for them. He has, now I'm giving a little bit more militant perhaps than I have been most of the 2 days. He knows what's good for the TR reservation. I know it's good for you because I'm white and I have all these, I have an MS degree in math, and I teach at the reservation and so on. It really is, as I thought about what I wrote, really, I forget the word I was going to use, presumptuous to think that what he can do anything just because that's who he is, that it's going to be of any value to anyone and to the tribe and not be harmful to the tribe. So, so one way to do it is you table it, or you deny it, or you sort of deny it but in a diplomatic way and say, so great, something like this. And I'm not saying this is what you would want to do. You might want to deny it just flat out. You might want to table it and say, come on back, and assume that the person is not going to come back. That takes, one less thing for you to do. But to say, this is a topic that certainly is important, but you really need to deal with a lot of these topics and with the community, and then you can say, don't send us anything until you do that, and you don't have to write very much. Or you say, the best thing to do is, and I was just thinking about this this afternoon, is take our research courses that we offer, that the college offers, the college faculty, introductory, and how many research, what's the sequence of research courses here?
Stats, research methods, advanced indigenous research methods, undergraduate research experience.
So, take these in order, and then come back with a proposal. Now, that may be not very diplomatic for a faculty member to say, take these courses that you're teaching students. But that's about actually what he needs to do. Anyway, this was, I was hoping that you'd enjoy this because it really is intended to be bad. And actually, I've got even some notes to myself. I'm going to make it even worse. One of the things, by the way, there are two things. One, he uses the word addict. That's not the kind of word you use in this setting. That's like saying, well, it's a derogatory term. A person who is addicted emphasizes the person part of it. So the whole idea of, it's not a diabetic, it's a person with diabetes. So the person-oriented approach to describing who they are people first, and the addiction is second, or the diabetes is second, or whatever. So that says something by itself. But also this whole issue of how do you convert a quantitative survey in that reservation, 95 miles, by the way, away from TR, not from Diné College, but away from TR, and I'll make that clear. How do you go from a qualitative survey And I'm going to make it clear that this is actually interviews with the lifetime stories. Remember People Awakening? This is basically a People Awakening project, except around opioids. And it's actually something that we have done. We replicated People Awakening project in what's called Native Transformations Project. And now Native Transformations Opioid Project that we're doing something very similar. But you go from qualitative research with factors that cluster into 4 different families of factors and about 50 factors, and then try to convert that into a quantitative survey. That is not easy to do. But this person again, hey, I'm Anglo, I know what, you know, I know what to do and how to do it. Just assumes he can. So that's another point about going from how you get qualitative survey and convert it into a quantitative survey. Can be done, but it takes some knowledge and skill. So, any comments? Okay, so anyway, I mean, whatever.
I thought he was doing two separate quantitative, separate qualitative, separate.
So he's converting that report from the reservation 95 miles away from TR res into the quantitative survey. And then his qualitative survey actually is not really a follow-up of that, but he has his own list of questions. And by the way, you know, besides obviously needing a certificate of confidentiality, I've said that, but one reason is, again, statistical identification. Look at the first category of his quantitative survey. Sexual orientation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different categories, most of whom will have very few people. And so that by itself can be identifying of outliers. Age in years, remember we talked about that. Could have been worse, could have asked for the date of birth, but at least age in years. But, you know, again, age in years identifies people at the outliers. So the people on the TR reservation who answer the survey, let's assume there's a few who are 75 and above. You've narrowed it down to maybe 3 people, not including their gender. Then you add gender to it. So this kind, and total Indian quantum, now that's not generally known. Most people, in terms of the public, I mean people know themselves. But think about this. Is he going to, this is the kind of data that you would use to do some sort of a comparison. Is he going to analyze by Indian quantum, and there are studies that do that, and get into a lot of hot water? If you're not going to use it for anything, don't ask it. So that's, you know, again, some of the things that you learn in your 4 courses that are taught here at the college. Anyway, I just wanted to say, did that discuss, does that answer your question?
I guess I see it both ways. I do see a benefit of why the survey is being done. It's not culturally related to the community. It's not really identifying race, or it's not anything to be perceived toward that race. It is specifically, it is a controlled, it seems more controlled, or specifically focused on opioids. And one of the questions that I would have is, is this person going to go How are they going to identify specifically how an individual is an addict? So for example, how are they going to identify that person if they are an addict or not, or if they're that consent is asking, I am going to ask you a very personal question, and I would like for you to be truthful in that manner. And in that way, that would also be beneficial, because eventually you want to get down to the real issue of why do we have a problem? If you interview using qualitative data to interview these potential addicts, if they are addicts, what is the problem? Where are these drugs coming from? How are you getting access to these drugs? It potentially opens those doors where you're researching more about your community to prevent some of those things from happening. But it also depends on how he's taking those steps to ensure, I guess.
What is your name? I forget your name.
Barcine.
Barcy? Barcine. Thank you. So I just learned something more. So yeah, I was a snot, right? I was a snotty guy about has no redeeming value and stuff like that. So we just heard the contrary. This is a serious topic, a serious problem. Get out from under there. And that potentially can be very helpful to the community. Again, a reason to say, and maybe help the person do a better study. But you also already mentioned, actually this can harm the community because the person isn't using anyone in the community to help write the report. That's the big thing. That's why we keep on talking about a community action / accountability board, if you want to go that way. Did I explain why I've added that small a / accountability? Did I explain that here yesterday or today? I don't think so. So, first of all, usually it's called the CAB, same initials, Community Advisory Board. And from the beginning, whenever I've been in research, I demand that it be not advisory board, because I ask for advice, you give it to me, and I take it or leave it. That's it. The role of the community in giving advice could be ignored. It doesn't say. It doesn't require the researcher to really engage with the community and to say that the community controls things. So it's a community action board. They have responsibility. They're part of the research team, just like a biostatistician is. And a biostatistician on the team says, you're doing the wrong statistical analysis. You, the PI, that proposed the wrong statistical analysis. Here's the right way to do it. Or, at the point of publication, you've analyzed this wrong. Here's what you need to say. That's where a person with that expertise actually doesn't just give advice. It says, you need to do this. Well, we're talking about the same thing with the community. And that's why I'm trying to get to that point about action as opposed to advisory. Biostatisticians don't advise, they tell you what to do. Well, actually, they say they advise, but they're telling you what to do, especially in the complex protocol. So why did accountability get in? And this is something that occurred less than a full year ago. So we were having a community action board meeting for the Native Transformations Opioid Project. And one of the elders was also on the community action board of the previous project, Native Transformations Project, said, you know, I'm not just accountable to this research. I'm accountable to all the people and generations before me of my community. I'm accountable to the elders of my community. And I'm accountable to the future generations of my community. What can we say about that? And we as a group, which included the non-native people, said, let's just add it. You're absolutely right. You're coming, you're not coming at it from the point of view of a conventional scientific researcher. You're coming from the point of view of who are you accountable to? Why are you here? Why do we have to listen to you? Because you are representing to us, the researchers, all those generations before, that have helped the tribes survive and flourish. All the elders now, and all the future generations. That's pretty serious responsibility. And so we've added accountability, but with a small a, so it's still a CAB. And that's how we now think about the importance of that organization, that part of things.
And I think the other thing to mention also is that qualitative and quantitative are really two different things when you are gathering the data and holding people accountable. For quantitative data, you just can't get 25 people and say, this community are addicts. You actually have to have a very large number in order to say that, and you have to be working with those institutions that have that officialized as well.
Right. And again, that's why we're talking about working with your CAB, because of all those issues, to make sure the research is done well. Thank you. This interchange just now, okay, I'll admit, like I said, I was a snot about this hypothetical researcher. That was helpful to have heard, be reminded, that may be, but this is so important that, and no one else, and especially if no one else is doing it, this is something that might be well worthwhile to help the person do this right. And the reason I say that is I just wanted to, my last thing is I've learned so much from you all over the day and a half, day and a half, including this last interchange. It's a reminder, don't be snotty about something that is so serious for the tribe. And thank you for that and all the other things I've learned, including how to write the first protocol better, so it'll be less, it'll be more obvious. How to write this one better, so it'll be more obvious. But also the discussion. It really has been a pleasure to not teach. It's been a pleasure to teach, but to learn. And I usually do learn from whenever I'm in this kind of a setting. And I've been learning, with tribal communities from the summer of 1991 when I first went to the Swinomish Indian tribal community and worked for them. It's a pleasure to keep on hoping I keep on learning. And that my learning hasn't stopped, and you're very wise and have been helped to me. So again, I say, Haishka CM, thank you, my respected teachers.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Freeman, for being here and showing us, kind of educating us, sharing with us, coaching us, engaging with us I know I feel pretty confidently I can speak on behalf of all of us when I say we're just so grateful that you would travel all the way here and spend this time with us. And I know for myself personally, this has been extremely valuable and will have a significant impact on our institution and on the way in which we approach research as we move forward. So yeah, for that, it's like a wide-spreading, cascading impact. And I think that even the opportunity to come together in this context and share in this way is just a clear example of that impact already manifesting itself. So yeah, and I have a small gift for you. It is to represent and remember Danette College. We have this beautiful bookstore just down the hallway. These are the official bookstore bags that they provide. Nothing but the best. And so I would like to give this gift to you as a demonstration of our appreciation for coming out and spending time with us. We're so honored. Maybe we can all give Dr. Freeman another round of applause.
Am I supposed to open it up?
Sure. It's a gift set. It's a his and hers because we can't forget about your wife who let you go for such a significant amount of time.
You're assuming that she's sad that I'm gone, maybe that she wants me out of the house.
Celebrating.
Wow.
Well, that's true. You can keep both of them. And I also wanted to thank Mr. Charlie for providing the invocation and the prayers for us, and for having patience with my clunky way of asking. Clunky and awkward, and I just wanted to acknowledge my gratitude. And so I have a gift for you as well to thank you for helping to bless the last 2 days so that we can be successful and have a good heart and be in balance and just have a positive mind, and all for the benefit of ourselves, the college, the community, for the Navajo Nation. So I here have again this beautiful gift bag provided by our top of the line, the Net College Bookstore. It says thank you 3 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In case you don't believe us, we'll get a felt marker and put it on there. And if I could just insert my clunky way of asking one more time. Maybe we can have a closing prayer. That we've got a winter storm with us today, and we have many people traveling home, and then of course Dr. Freeman he'll be here spending the evening in Chinle again tonight, and then visiting with the Net Policy Institute in the morning before driving back to Albuquerque to catch his flight home. So
We'll actually be doing it this afternoon.
so never mind. Could I ask humbly and in my clunky way if you'd be willing to provide a prayer for us as we go?
Hakoshin Shehet, thank you for your counsel. Bill, and it's good to see you again. Relationships renewed, established, Shahad, and for all of us here. It's been good listening and participating in the call, and we realize the challenges with IRB. I would really encourage Jim, and we have a member of the curriculum development team. Let's come together and establish a good training program via internet that is specific to the Nate College to look at human health research, animal research, and to integrate traditional values and concepts so that we don't have to reach out to our neighboring universities. A lot of these issues that came up could be in there as a guidance to our young charges and the students who are willing to be researchers, as well as staff and faculty, to avoid many of the complex things of integrating the traditional values and Western science. So that could be a good tool. Thank you. We come together again, Lord, and as we depart, just as in the Navajo way, there is no word for goodbye. It's simply hakoanen. Let it be so. And we leave that door open, that it will be so until we meet again with our friends and we as colleagues, and we never close that door. Such is the concept of Sa'angale as we go through life, the challenges, the teachings, and we certainly have these through the IRB here. We've identified many things. We have progressed a lot, but there's much to do. And we have asked these things, the wisdom, the understanding, to put these together. And so we will, as a team, in one mind, one body, one spirit, through our chants, through our prayers, and certainly through hard work and with your guidance. Keep us, give us a safe journey, and keep us in your loving care as we depart. And there will truly be no goodbyes, simply until we meet again. Let it be so. God, we ask all of this in your name. Amen and amen.
Okay, thank you everybody for being here and making